And next, your question should be 112. Which of the following represent dikaryotic and diploid? Dikaryotic condition is n+1 and karyogamy is showing 2n. So just see here. So here, so this is n+n condition and this condition is 2n condition. Just go with your options. N+n is dikaryotic condition. Still, the nucleus is not fused. It fuses only in the karyogamy, at the time of karyogamy, where it gives you a diploid condition, right children? So 113 question, read the names of the different fungi given in the box. So it is very easy to pick it out. So just go with the option one, go with question number 114, reduction division in the Phycomycetes that takes place in the zygote. Reduction division that takes place, meiosis is the reductional division. So in this oomycetes and zygomycetes, it takes place in the zygote. In the ascomycetes, it occurs in the sac. So that is ascine. In the basidiomycetes, it takes place in the club-like structure called basidium. So your option should be the first one. And go with 115 question. Protozoans are called animal protistans, yes. And they lack cell wall plastids and exhibit heterotrophic nutrition. Yes, both the statements are true. And 116, so basidospores, ascospores, meiospores are the products of, just now I told you, meiosis will produce meiospores. And the meiospores in the oomycetes is zoospore, zygospore, no sexual reproduction, ascospore and basidospores. So they are the sexual reproductive spores, formed on meiosis. So just go with this, meiosis, and conidiospores, zoospores, sporangiospores. So right, they comes under asexual spores that are formed on the mitosis. So option should be meiosis and mitosis, right? And go with the question number 117. Incorrect match from the following statements. Diner. So you know what diner is? It's not a microorganism. It is the one who discovered the lower entity. So right, diner, infectious agents with ribonucleotides. Lichens, they are the pollution indicators. Yes. Prions, again they are the lower entities. Infectious agents with polypeptides only. Plant, a reserve food is not a glycogen. The reserve food in the plant is starch. In the animals and in the kingdom monerans, the reserve food material is glycogen or fat. Even in the fungi, monera, fungi and animals, so the reserve food material is glycogen, and here in the plants it is starch, right children? So now 118 question. So now just see here, endogenous sexual spores, the spores which are formed inside the sporangia are called as endogenous spores. Here example you can just ascine, exogenous which are formed outside. So basidiomycetes, exogenous asexual spores are conidiospores. So this conidiospores, you are having the important parts. So the erect structure, you will call it as, so what you will call it as conidiophore. Conidiophore. Over the conidiophore there is presence of primary branching, call it as rami. And the secondary branching over this is called as medullae. So over the medullae there is presence of sterigmata, and this sterigmata is giving you, so bottle-like structures are giving you the conidiospores which are not present inside the sporangium, call it as exogenous non-motile spores which are formed on the mitosis. So next one is endogenous asexual spores. So definitely what they are, aplanospores. So inside sporangiospores, endosporangium, the spores are formed which are non-flagellated, call it as aplanospores, asexual spores. So now just go with the option. No, next question 119. In the kingdom Animalia characterized by, so the animal kingdom is characterized by the multicellular heterotrophic holozoic nutrition, and they do lack cell wall. So right, and all are correct should be your answer. And 120, what is the true for alternation of generation? You know very well, alternation of generation means fluctuations. So right, if the organism is showing haploid, starts with haploid, so what happens? At the time of sexual reproduction, there is formation of the zygote which is diploid. Again, the zygote will undergo meiosis to give you haploid. So that means haplodiploid, haplodiploid, haplodiploid. The fluctuations of this generations. So some stage haploid and some stage diploid. Again, it enters into haploid. This fluctuations of generation mostly you will see in the bryophytes and also in the pteridophytes. Right, children? So now just see here a system, and next one is next question 121. Systematics. Systematics is the term derived from the two Latin words. Systematics is equal to morphology plus phylogeny. So right, children? So it is involved in arrangement of the organisms because it provides the principles and procedures how to classify the organisms. Correct. Cytotaxonomy. So the branches of the taxonomy are chemotaxonomy and cytotaxonomy and number taxonomy. Cytotaxonomy, which is also called as karyotaxonomy, it helps in classifying the organism on the basis of chromosomal structure, behavior and number. Chemotaxonomy, that helps in arranging the organisms based upon the sequence of RNA, DNA, proteins and also the aromatic compounds provided by the plants. And number taxonomy helps in enlisting the characters, possible characters. You can store in the form of code, run the program. The characters which are similar can be placed under existing group. The one which is having dissimilarity can be placed under new group. So right, cytotaxonomy, chromosomal number and structure, correct. Numerical taxonomy, mathematical tools and computer, correct. Chemotaxonomy, it is not based upon the chromosomal number. Chemotaxonomy is based upon the sequence of RNA, sequence of DNA, sequence of the proteins. So chromosomal number, again it comes under cytotaxonomy. Right, children? 122 question, which of the following represent tracheophytes? Tracheophytes are the one which is having the vascular tissue. You started seeing this vascular tissue from the pteridophytes. That means xylophytes and bryophytes are atracheophytes because the vascular tissues are absent. Right, children? You just go with that based upon bryo, pterido, gymno, angio. First option, no bryo, atracheophytes. Algae, atracheophytes. Pterido, gymno and angiosperms are tracheophytes. We started seeing vascular tissues right from the pteridophytes. That's why the first terrestrial plants are called as pteridophytes. And next one is 123, a system of classification in which a large number of traits are considered without involving evolution. Natural system of classification. So on the basis of morphology, on the basis of anatomy, physiology, ultrastructure, embryology, but not on the basis of the evolutionary history. So this natural system of classification was given by persons called John Ray, Bantham and Hooker, all comes under this. So the sexual system of classification, which again comes under natural system given by the Linnaeus, right? No, that comes under artificial system of classification. So just your option should be natural system. So 124 question, which one is wrongly matched? Uniflagellated gametes. Polysiphonia. Polysiphonia is the example for the red algae. There, the gametes do not possess flagella. Right? It is wrong option. Biflagellate zoospores. Brown algae. So yes, correct. Gemmacups on the Markensia. That comes under the Hepaticopsida, unicellular algae, Chlamydomonas. Correct. So your wrongly matched uniflagellated gametes. ఒక్క ఫ్లాజెల్లా కూడా రెడ్ ఆల్గే కింద వచ్చే ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ లో ఏమి ఉండదు because they are going to perform oogamous sexual reproduction, which is most advanced one. And 125 question, algae have cells made up of, the cell wall of the algae is made of cellulose, hemicellulose, monones, galactans. So your option, just go with that. And next 126, which one is the following statement is wrong? Algae increase the level of dissolved oxygen in the immediate end. Yes. Algin is obtained from red algae and carrageenan. Try to understand. You will see the hydrocolloids or phycocolloids only in the brown algae and red algae. These phycocolloids are absent in green algae. So the phycocolloids in the brown algae and red algae are different. The phycocolloids of the brown algae are fucin, fucodin, algin. And phycocolloids of the red algae are carrageenan, agar, funorine. Just try to understand. They are trying to confuse the phycocolloids with phycocolloids of the brown algae with red algae. So try to understand and find out the answer. So 127, you know very well they're asking you about the pyrenoids. Pyrenoids are the structure which help in storage of the starch. They're associated with chlamydomonas, mostly with the chlorophyceae members. So right, so just see here, I'm going to show you the chlamydomonas, and this is flagella. Inside the presence of what is this? So chloroplast. So here there is presence of nuclei. Inside this only there is presence of pyrenoids which are associated with starch and proteins. Along with that there is an enzyme called starch synthase enzyme. So right children.